So, as life imitates art and art imitates life, I recently had an experience in life that reminded me of art. And so that's what this week's podcast review, I even would more so think to call this episode a think piece, because the movie's been out for a minute, and I'm not really reviewing the movie as a quality of a movie, although I do think the movie's pretty good. I'm more so reviewing just the thematic elements experienced in the movie. And in life, you have a choice whether to face adversity head on or sit back and cower away, run away, and not face the inevitability of time and space occurring. And so, welcome to Movies-aRe-USS, a satire movie podcast that acknowledges life imitates art and art imitates life. So movies are the story of human and nowadays AI experiences. So grab your popcorn and let's talk about Mufasa, the Lion King, Mufasa. Lessons from, take your fades. So I did see this movie in theaters originally. I recently rewatched it, but I did see this movie in theaters and quite enjoyed my theater experience. What caused me to rewatch it was having some items stolen out of my vehicle, and it's the effect of living in a big city. There's no guarantee, and you have to be ever vigilant, even if in your daily practice you have been doing it the same way and nothing has occurred, right? It more so for me became a moment to accept the challenge I was now faced with or feel a type of way about an experience. And it reminded me of this movie, Mufasa, because that is the story you're watching break down. And I think the think piece element that I would like to explore this week is the effects of not taking your fade. The lack of confidence you face when you don't face the enemy, face your adversity, face your challenges, your trials, your tribulations head on. And you watch that dynamic occur between two characters in this movie, one being Mufasa, the father of Simba from the original Lion King, and the second character being Taka, who, and this will be spoiler because the movie has came out and is more so a think piece once again, who, as you come to find out, is now also in Mufasa's story, the origin story of the character Scar from the original Lion King. And it's interesting as a film because you're watching two destinies as they travel by each other, as both Mufasa and Taka / Scar were kings or heir to kings, right? They were the sons of kings for their respective prides. And one of the main differences you see in their ability to become king is you have a character like Mufasa who is actively fighting anytime something happens, in the sense that if adversity comes his way, he does not run away. He stands and he fights. And you have a character like Taka who has all the makings to be a king, was bred to be a king, and the one moment that causes his dissension into evil is the fact that he did not stand against adversity. And there's a linchpin point in the movie in which, from that point, you are now watching him descend away from his kingdom as Mufasa is rising towards it, taking on the challenges that come with life. This movie might not be about lions, everybody. Just FYI. So, I like to entitle it Taking Your Fades. I know that could be seen as aggressive. I know, that's this or that. And honestly, this is Movies-aRe-USS. So tell me what you like to call it. But Russell likes to call it Taking Your Fades, man. And you have to take them. And this movie teaches that. if you're watching it, if you're paying attention, it teaches you have to take your fades. You are infinitely better off facing adversity than running away from it. That's what this movie teaches. There was an expert camera angle involved when you see Taka Scar's dissension into his evil. And it's a front point of view in the camera, and it's an animated movie, but they actually did, the animation was very beautiful. I loved it on the big screen, and rewatching it still looked decent. Will it hold up in 15, 20 years? Who knows? We don't know where the technology will be, but for this era, it definitely was decent animation. And the camera is on him as he's running away during controversy and adversaries attacking a group of lions that are close to him, and you see the fear on the animal, on Taka's, in his eyes, on his face, and from that point on, you can point out every other moment that same fear arises, and now he does not face his adversity. He does not face his adversity. This doesn't have to be a long podcast because the movie's been out. I hope everybody goes sees it. This is a think piece for me. This is just an exercise and an experience I had in which I think experiences people are having, whether they know it or not, because movies are us. And every day when something happens, when something changes, when there's a difference or an adversary or whatever you want to call it, you are met with a moment where you can take your fade like a Mufasa and face the inevitability that will allow you to rise into greatness, or you can find yourself from misguidement, which he did receive, poor personal self-view, which people do deal with. You can find yourself letting yourself down and not doing the thing and not taking the challenge. Not taking the challenge, everybody. So I was met with challenge. And these movies are us. And in that moment, I promised myself I'd be Mufasa. I promised myself I won't take away my own, and no one should be taking away their own ability to believe, their ability to have the evidence that you can do whatever you put your mind to, regardless of what is happening. Well, we're at the bottom of the bucket where there's nothing left but the kernels, and this was more of an exercise and just an experience had and how it kind of related to my life, and a movie that made me think about the best way to handle a situation. So hop down below, let me know if you've seen the Lion King Mufasa, and what were your thoughts? What are some of your favorite songs? Do you take your fades? What do you call it? I call it taking fades, I ain't gonna lie. And make sure to follow us at mru.podcast on Instagram. And I hope you have a good day.